Hello everyone, welcome back to Namma Laex Bangalore presents current issue of the day. In today's episode, we'll discuss about Islamic NATO. Previously, we already made a discussion on Islamic NATO, what is it and why is it important. But today, why it is again in news, what are the possibilities of making this NATO and how is it different from previous blocks and why should India be worried and who are the key players. So we'll discuss on those aspects. So an Islamic NATO emerging. So Saudi Arabia, Pakistan and Turkey alignment explained. In this video, we will discuss key players. Those key players are Saudi Arabia, Pakistan and Turkey. So what is Islamic NATO? So what are the key characteristics we have to understand? Is it really a copy of NATO or is it something different? First is, it is not a formal treaty. There won't be any formal treaty based alliance because NATO is a formal treaty alliance, that is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Based on an treaty, the alliance is there, and it is actually a media coined term for emerging defense coordination. There is no particular Islamic NATO of sorts, but it is just media coined them because majority of the countries that are coming together to bring this alliance are Islamic and the nature is similar to NATO. That is why it is called as Islamic NATO. It is focused on security among whom? Among Muslim majority states. That's why the name NATO, and it mirrors NATO's deterrence philosophy. What is NATO's deterrence philosophy? NATO's deterrence philosophy is, if you attack one country among the NATO, you attack everyone. So if you are going to attack one country among the NATO, then rest of the country have the right to attack on you. So that is the basic idea about NATO's deterrence philosophy. So this Islamic NATO draws parallels to NATO's Article 5 principle. What is Article 5 principle? That is, an attack on one is an attack on all. Though no such a formal commitment exists yet in terms of Islamic NATO, the basic idea of bringing this particular Islamic NATO is that only, that is to build deterrence. Why the term is in news again? So previously we discussed about this and we said that the possibility of Islamic NATO are very thin. But why are we discussing it again? We are discussing it because of recent Saudi Arabia defense deal. Recently, there was a high level military exchanges and joint exercises signed deepening strategic ties beyond the traditional economic cooperation between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. And now a new power is planning to join this particular alliance, that is Turkey. So Turkey is already a member of NATO, the original NATO. It is one of the member of original NATO. So now Turkey is also planning to join this alliance. That is why this becomes very important for us. Ankara's pivot towards Gulf states combined with advanced military technology adds a NATO standard dimension to the grouping. And finally, shifting global architecture, that is growing discourse on the collective deterrence reflects broader multipolar trends and reduced Western security dominance. Okay, so we all know there is one name which is always changing this global architecture, that is Mr. President of United States, that is Donald Trump. So his actions against any country which he do not deem good from his perspective, not from the USA perspective, not good from his own perspective, he keeps on attacking them, such as Venezuela. Next he is eyeing on Colombia. Next he is eyeing on different countries, and he also has eyes on Iran. And if Iran can be attacked, then obviously other Muslim states are also worried. What is the guarantee that Trump is not going to attack us in the future? Because we are also oil-rich countries. So there are every chances that Trump might attack our countries as well. So the collective bargaining power that brings from an alliance is always greater than individual military power or individual military might. So this is in the news. Next, what are the key three core pillars? First is the financial power. Who is the financial power here? Obviously the Saudi Arabia, the oil-backed, oil-rich country of Saudi Arabia, second largest oil reserves in the world, but largest oil producing country in the world. And second is nuclear capability or the nuclear power, that is Pakistan, only Muslim majority country which has nuclear power, that is Pakistan. And third one is the military technological power, which is by Turkey. So discuss detail on this one. So the first pillar, as I told you, was Saudi Arabia. That is the economic and strategic anchor. First is they have massive defense funding. That is third largest military spender globally, approximately $75.8 billion in 2023, and providing financial muscle for the joint procurement and research and development initiatives. So highest financial backer. Second is the control over strategic choke points, such as if this is Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia has access to the strategic choke points. What are the strategic choke points? One is the Strait of Hormuz, which connects Persian Gulf with Arabian Sea. Second is Bab al Mandeb Strait, which connects Red Sea with the Gulf of Aden, and it connects Arabian Sea. And third is Suez Canal, though there is no direct connection, but if it is able to choke these 2 points, it is ultimately choking Suez Canal as well. So it has a strategic advantage over rest of the Islamic countries. That is strategic oversight over the Red Sea, Persian Gulf, and Bab al Mandeb Strait, which is critical for global energy security and maritime trade. Third is strategic autonomy drive. Vision 2030's security dimension seeks to reduce over dependence on the Western security guarantees while maintaining crucial partnership. So currently, Saudi Arabia, this is Mohammed bin Salman, that is MBS, who is the chief of Saudi Arabia, the head of Saudi Arabia. He is more dependent on the Western, not only him, in the sense Saudi Arabia is dependent on the West at the moment, so they want to reduce this dependence on the West. In order to reduce the dependency, they are going towards their own allies, which they consider to be Muslim powers. So second is Pakistan, the nuclear and manpower pillar. It has 170 nuclear warheads and 654 active personnels, which makes it the 6th largest army. And it has 3 types of missiles, that is short, medium, and long range. Also strategic capabilities, only Islamic power with the nuclear powers, ballistic missile power systems with the Shaheen and Ghauri series with the varying ranges up to 2750 kilometers, and also battle hardened forces because of their experience in Indo-Pakistan wars and also operations in Afghanistan and Iran. Next, strategic ambiguity, maintains uncertainty over the nuclear threshold and potential nuclear umbrella extension. So this makes them a nuclear power in this nexus. Third is the Turkey, the ancient Turkey or Ankara land, the military and technological pillar. The ancient Turkic kingdom still maintains its power, a stronghold in the region. It is the second largest NATO military. That is over 3,55,000 active personnel with extensive combat experience in the neighboring Syria, Libya, and Nagorno-Karabakh conflicts. What is this Nagorno-Karabakh conflicts? Just write down in the comment box. This Nagorno-Karabakh conflict is between which 2 countries? Write down in the comment box. Next, modern command structure with the NATO standard training and interoperability. So they are trained and battle hardened military and advanced drone technology. So one of the leaders in a drone technology in the world is Turkey. So Bayraktar TB2 and Akinci UAVs, that is unarmed aerial vehicles, have proven combat effectiveness globally, and Turkey exports armed drones to 30 plus countries, challenging traditional Western monopoly in the military technology markets. So one of the rare powers outside of these Western countries which is able to sell its weapons because of its quality and because of the technological ingenuity. Third is defense industry ambitions. That is indigenous production of frigates, submarines, and armored vehicles, and also air defense systems. And their aim is goal of 80% self-sufficiency by 2028, reducing dependency on the external supplies. So this sounds similar to India's Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbharata in terms of military. Okay, so Turkey is also going for Atmanirbharata, self-sufficiency in military. So these are the 3 main players. Add to them might of European Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and from the Asia, You can add Malaysia, which is a long-standing supporter of Turkey as well as Pakistan. You can also add Indonesia, and you can add other Middle Eastern countries such as Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, etc., etc. So has a high potential, has a huge potential if at all it is brought into fruition. Next is anti-West alliance. Is this an anti-West alliance? That is the question to be answered. If they portray themselves as an anti-West alliance, then it will be very difficult for them. So they are saying it is not anti-West alliance. So their agenda is that it is only hedging and not hostility. That is the emerging alliance. They say that the emerging alliance is better understood as strategic hedging rather than explicit anti-Western posture. What do you mean by this? First is they are not explicitly anti-West. There are no statements or doctrines targeting the Western interest at all. So it is no explicitly not anti-West. Second is insurance strategy. It is only acting as an insurance. That is, it is only acting as strategic hedging rather than hostility towards Western countries. So aim is to just diversify security partnerships to reduce vulnerability and to reduce dependence on the West. And aim is, and the desire is for autonomy, self-sufficiency, autonomy in terms of military. So greater agency in regional security decisions. It is possible when they have greater autonomy and when they are less dependent on the Western powers. Next, maintaining Western ties. All the three nations retain significant economic and security links with USA and NATO, and Turkey being part of NATO as well. So they portray themselves as not anti-West. They are not anti-West. So so there is another different blocks which are already present. How is it different from the previous Islamic bloc? So first present previously Islamic bloc is Islamic Military Counterterrorism Coalition, and now it is the proposed Islamic NATO. How is it different? The primary focus of IMCTC is counter-terrorism operations, whereas Islamic NATO is collective defense and strategic deterrence. Okay, and the nuclear dimension here is in IMCTC it is absent, whereas in Islamic NATO nuclear-backed deterrence capability is there with the inclusion of Pakistan. And the membership is 41 Muslim majority nations are already on board. Majorly here core triad, that is focused, capability driven. These triads are Pakistan, Saudi Arabia and Turkey. Next is command structure is in IMCTC it is Saudi led, that is Saudi Arabia led, and headquarters is in Riyadh. In NATO or Islamic NATO there is no formal structure as of now. Most probably if at all there is a structure, it might probably be in Saudi Arabia again. Next, treaty obligations, limited operational commitments here, but in case of Islamic NATO, if at all it is brought, then there is potential mutual defense guarantees on the lines of Article 5 of NATO. Next is operation record, that is there have been minimal joint operations in the IMCTC, but there can be hypothetical at present in Islamic NATO, but a major contributor in the future. And why is India concerned? Why should India be concerned? Obviously, there is concern for India because India's immediate neighbor and the hostile neighbor, that is Pakistan, is bringing back up. So nuclear deterrence imbalance, that is Pakistan gaining extended deterrence backing alters the South Asian strategic calculus, which potentially emboldening the subconventional adventurism. Okay, so now Pakistan has the backing of financial power of Saudi Arabia and also technological power of Turkey along with its own nuclear power. So it brings or it changes the power balance in the South Asia. Add to that, India has to balance two-edged swords, that is Pakistan on the one side and China on the other side. It becomes difficult for India. Next, Middle East diplomacy impact. So India's carefully activated or cultivated relations with the Gulf states could face pressure if Saudi Arabia and Pakistan nexus solidifies against the perceived Indian interest. Okay, so if at all this becomes a reality, then India's long, hard fought relations with the Gulf countries will be at stake. Next, energy security considerations as well. Over 60% of the Indian oil imports transit through choke points which are controlled by alliance members, especially the Saudi Arabia, which will create a strategic vulnerability in the future if at all there is a possibility of war with India and Pakistan. Finally, the financial and military backing to Pakistan, which will result in the financial support, could alleviate Pakistan's economic constraints, enabling sustained military modernization against India, and it will obviously going to impact India through their cut India through 1,000 cuts, bleed India through 1,000 cuts. So they can use this financial support provided by Saudi Arabia for bleeding India through 1,000 cuts through what? Through cowardly terror activities. Cowardly terror activities. So that is why India should be worried. So this is about Islamic NATO. Let us hope it doesn't become a reality, and if at all it becomes a reality, there has to be an alternative which is going to help India in the future. So India has to ramp up its diplomatic operations and bring more players on board. So this is Islamic NATO. With this, I will be ending the video. If you like the video, then please hit the like button, comment on it, and also share with your friends. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon so that you don't miss any notification. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.